I woke up this morning feeling quite fatherly. I'm a teacher, but I don't feel like a teacher this morning. I feel more fatherly. This Christmas I'll be 94 years old, so I can feel like a father. And the theme is so strong in me, and I hope I can get it out clearly without tears. We have 4 children. We've been married 68 years. And in this message, this insight, I wish I would have known, or I could have imparted it to my own children and to you. The title of what I want to talk about is How to Fix Stupid. It took courage for me just to say it, you know. And of course, everybody knows the phrase, you can't fix stupid. And it's always touched me very deeply. I was tempted to tell you some more stories about my own stupidity. I've made some decisions that were very wrong, very costly. And the more I dealt with it, the more I realized that I made those decisions out of the absence of wisdom. If I would have had wisdom, I would never have done or said or made to happen what I made to happen. So John Wayne says, life is hard, but it's much harder if you're stupid. And that's attributed to him, and knowing him, and he's one of my heroes, and I just thought, of course, I don't care what degree you have, how much money you have, how wise you think you are, how rebellious you might be. If you could listen to this Papa for 20 minutes, then let me impart something to you. I wish to God someone would have imparted to me more effectively so many years ago. And it starts with some kind of personal insight, and in Proverbs chapter 8 it says, "O fools, pursue wisdom." And there it presents wisdom there. You can look at it, but I don't want to read the Bible to you. I want you to hear me. "O fools, pursue, seek after wisdom." And wisdom is seen there as a person. It's not. It's a revelation. It isn't facts. It's some kind of a revelation that comes in, and when that hit me this morning, and of course I reread that, and then I began to understand what it is that's on me and what I want you to hear. And so when I read that, and then I want to make some personal statements, and but I want to preface what I want to say. When I talk about wisdom, God the Father will answer the prayer that I am going to lead you to, whether you're a sinner, a believer, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever your background, whatever your transgression or your failure. Father would answer this prayer. It would bring you out into a place of freedom. The thing that is in God's heart is for his people, all humanity, to be free. And we can't be free when we're stupid. and I had to laugh because it sounds so sort of self-contradictory. But here's what's happening. And James, the brother, physical brother of Jesus, wrote a thing on wisdom. And he says there's a wisdom that comes from above. It's the wisdom. And he didn't say it was God. He said it comes from above. That's the New Jerusalem, the wisdom of God, there's all books of wisdom. I've been seeking philosophy and wisdom all my life. But the wisdom from above, and then James, with great care, identifies something, and he said, but there's another wisdom, and that wisdom comes from below, and that wisdom that comes from above, and the one that comes from below, and these two wisdoms is what makes our decisions. And I thought, oh my God, and then, without being religious or political or anything, I realized that the wisdom which comes from below, this is how James said it. He saw it in his own brother. He saw there's a wisdom which is sensual and earthly. And then, to my shock, he adds the word demonic. That once we are tricked or seduced or embrace a wisdom from below as contrasted to a wisdom from above, we do dumb things. We do stupid things. I want to identify them. I'm going to identify 5 just as an application, or so we can see into what I'm reaching for. And that wisdom, and see, there's a increasing loss of wisdom, and media and television and all the stuff that's going on. It keeps assaulting us in mental, emotional, spiritual ways. And so I thought, could I identify this for all people, especially, let me say, 40 years old and younger. Some of our older codgers are already fixed, and they're not going to change. And some of the younger hunger for saying, what is it that we're missing? Why are we so lonely? What's going on here? What am I after? And I just want to identify those, if I possibly can, in a way that you could receive them. And now, here's the basis. Because I believe it, doesn't make it true. That was a shock to me, because I believe it makes me assume that it's true. The reverse is also real, which is because I don't believe it doesn't make it false or unreal. So it isn't just the obvious facts or the sound or the whoever's on there, including me. You got to evaluate what I'm saying to you as whether it's authentic wisdom or not. Because the wisdom that comes from above is different than the wisdom that comes from below. And so there's a decision process, and we are forced to make that. And like I said, starting with if I could tell you war stories, you'd trust me more. You'd understand what it is I'm reaching for. Now, let's watch for a moment. The New Jerusalem is a source of wisdom. It's God's governmental purpose. God loves the world. He loves the cosmos. God loved the world in such a way, with such anticipation and passion, the burden of the Lord caused him to give his very own son to a very, very complex crucifixion and death, so that wisdom could be made available to us. And I am asking you to believe me when I say this. I'll say it a couple times. I don't care who you are, how much failure, what you did, where you are, how complicated your world is. If you would ask Father for wisdom that comes from above, and I'd ask him to help you identify wisdom that's coming from beneath or from below, the thing starts to sort out what life is about. I'm telling you, I'm going to use some illustrations here, but please don't hear them politically. Please don't hear them religiously. It's just not politics or religion. This is sourced wisdom. What is governing my life? What is the source of my making my decisions? And every time I have chosen the wrong source, wrong effect, wrong fruit. And because I believe it didn't help me anything. And so now here, I'm going to do these quickly. There's a thing called MMT. It's called Modern Money Theory. MMT. So about 25 years ago, I did a thing with quite a big crowd on the nation's indebtedness. And I had these big charts, and everybody thought it was really, really great. Then my MMT is a source of wisdom that is frightening. And now we're 35 trillion in debt. And here's what wisdom says. Wisdom says all debt is injurious. I don't care what kind of debt. Judith and I, from the old school, we don't owe anybody anything except our house mortgage. So here's what we do. We stay out of debt. Now, wisdom says, wear it, eat it, make it do. Stay out of debt if it is humanly possible. Now, what kind of message is that to our present generation? Second one, it says, wisdom from below says you can be any sexual person you want to be. Wisdom from above says, no, it's male and female, and there's a choice that's being made that is so painful. I was a medic in the Navy, and I've been in a lot of surgeries, and I've been in that world, and I'm watching now a false wisdom being imparted to our young people into schools, but just it's beyond me. I thought there's a source of wisdom from beneath that is so injurious, and And a stupid mistake, but once the stupid mistake is made, very, very difficult to repair. Third one. I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I don't have any choice. It's submitting my infant, my pregnancy, to personal convenience, and all the reasoning, and all the thinking, and all the people that's pressing for or against. I'm not trying to put the theory of abortion on you. I'm saying there is a force of reasoning, the source of reasoning that comes from above, the source of reasoning that comes from beneath it. I've counseled over the years multitudes of women who have yielded to a false wisdom. Remember, it's earthly, it's sensual, it can even be demonic, and then they would say to me, "Oh, Mr. Mumford, I'm going to tell you what I've never told anyone." And then they would open their insides in tears and pain. And I thought, oh my God, the stupidity, my stupidity, their stupidity, our stupidity. Fourth one, this is scary, but it's marriage. Judith and I have been married 68 years. It's been difficult at times, very complicated, and all kinds of voices and wisdom from everywhere. And one of the Hollywood famous had 13 husbands, and I thought, I don't think that's very wise. So here's what wisdom. If it's possible, please, I know sometimes it is not possible, but if it's possible, ask Father for wisdom to save your marriage and heal your family. That wisdom He will provide when your heart cry opens to Him. Last one. This one brings me to tears. The wisdom to respond and not react. Our whole society now has lost the wisdom of response versus reaction. One situation where a man pulled a gun on the person in the restaurant because his order wasn't correct. I thought, we're getting to be a reactionary society. I'll beat you up, I'll kill you. So the reaction. I've had some reactions, but I'm learning there is a wisdom that comes from God that says, Bob, don't react. Respond. And when I respond, the emergency, the hatred, the pain, the violence stops. I've counseled, as many have, violent marriages, violent children, violent situations where the husband or the wife or the children react in the absence of any wisdom that says, I need somebody to teach me how to respond and not react. If I can do that, I find my whole person coming, because you're not God, and people can have, well, I don't want to tell war stories, but my reaction time, I cut your head off, put it in your hand, and then say, I'm sorry. The implications being unbelievable anger and reaction that is not controllable. Now here's my final point. Please hear me when I say, believer, unbeliever, I don't care who you are, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever, whoever you are, wherever you are, if you could hear my voice and appeal to God the Father, who is a creator. He created you. He is the source of wisdom of how life works. If you ask him with intentionality and a heart cry, he will answer you in a way unexpected and authentic. Eat it, wear it, make it do. Stay out of death. Wow. Right now, we're struggling, and the families are in crises, and nobody knows what to do. Credit card debt overwhelming. And so here we are asking for, Father, heal my stupidity. Give me a source of wisdom that isn't coming from below, but is coming from above and causes life to work. He will answer that prayer.